Good afternoon. Welcome to Say News. I'm Levi and here's our top story. A pedestrian is dead after being hit by a dump truck. Chloe Bernabe has more on the story.
Toronto police said they were called to the intersection of Dufferin Street and Eglinton Avenue around 10:30 this morning. The dump truck, which was traveling westbound on Eglinton Avenue West, turned left onto Dufferin Street heading southbound when the pedestrian was hit. Toronto paramedics said they took a man in his 40s to a trauma center with life-threatening injuries. The man later succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. Toronto Police Inspector Jeff Basingthwaite has advice for Toronto road users.
All road users have to be cognizant of what is happening on the roadway, on the sidewalks, everything around them.
Police say the investigation is still ongoing and they're determining if the driver will be charged. Police are also looking for video of the area around the time of the crash. For Say News, I'm Chloe Bernabe. Back to you, Levi.
The grim search continues this hour for a man who has been missing since his house exploded. Laura Mejia joins us with more.
That's right. Toronto fire crews are still on scene after Sunday morning's fire and explosion caused a Scarborough home to explode. Firefighters first responded to the fire at Kitchener Road near Morningside Avenue and Lawrence Avenue East shortly after 11:30 a.m. on Sunday. Toronto Fire Services said on Sunday that an occupant of the house was still missing after the house collapsed.
This is what we're doing right now. We're doing our assessment to make sure it's safe to get in. It's a scene that will be accessible later this morning. Again, we'll have to utilize the services of a hi-ho or a heavy piece of equipment to do so.
An OFM spokesperson told reporters earlier today that heavy equipment will be used in order to start delayering the debris so that the cause of the fire can be determined. For Say News, I'm Laura Mejia. Back to you.
For the 6th month in a row, it's going to cost you more to rent. According to the latest findings from Rental CA and Urbanation, the average asking price for rental units in Canada surged to almost $2,200 last month. This marks a 9.9% year-over-year increase. Vancouver is the most expensive city for renters, followed closely by Toronto. Rent for a one-bedroom unit ranges between $2,600 and $2,900 in these cities. We're heading into the holiday season and shoplifting is on the rise. It's been going up since COVID. Some companies are reporting thefts and averaging $3,000 to $5,000. Clothes, beauty products, baby formula and electronics are the main targets. Stores are adding more security guards and off-duty police officers in stores in an attempt to prevent more thefts. A hospital in Gaza is now surrounded by Israeli troops and President Joe Biden is urging it to be protected. The area around the medical center of Al-Shifa in Gaza has been hit by bombings and gunfire, causing many to flee. The hospital has been without water and electricity for 3. Many hospitals in Palestine are also being blockaded by Israeli forces, making it harder for staff to take care of patients. Many of those are newborn babies. Officials at the hospital say that 36 babies that are in great danger if not evacuated. The 10th Annual Gaming Award nominations are now out, with a lot of predictable titles being on the nomination list and some notable ones missing. Vijay Singh has the details.
Some gamers are scratching their heads why Final Fantasy VI and Starfield did not make it into any of the categories. The nomination list was made from input of iconic game influencers and media outlets around the globe. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, and Super Mario Bros. Are up for the Best Game nomination. Fans are able to vote on the GameAwards.com website through December 6th. There are over 30 categories in this year's award, some of which are Best Game of the Year, Most Anticipated, Best Adaptation, and Best Performance, and much more. With over 100 titles on this year's nomination list, the award show will be live on December 7th at 7:30 p.m. Viewers can watch on YouTube, TikTok Live, Facebook, and more streaming sources. For Say News, I'm Vijay Singh.
Seneca College is observing Transgender Awareness this week. Today at noon in Newham campus, President David Agnew kicked it off by raising the transgender flag. It was followed by a drag storytime performance. All Seneca campuses are taking part to raise visibility for two-spirit, transgender, non-binary, and gender-diverse people. A groundbreaking study has found that weight loss reduces the risk of serious heart problems by 20%. Benjamin Koigildi has the details.
The research reveals that Wegovy not only helps with weight loss, but also safely prevents heart issues in those with pre-existing heart conditions. This challenges the view of obesity drugs as purely cosmetic. It could potentially influence treatment guidelines and insurance coverage. Wegovy is a high-dose version of the diabetes drug Ozempic, and its manufacturer, NOV13, aims to include heart benefits on its label pending FDA approval. According to another study, women are now outliving men by nearly 6 years. According to New Center for Disease Control data, the study attributes men's higher mortality rates to factors like unintentional injuries, diabetes, suicide, homicide, and heart disease. The recent impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and drug overdose epidemic has further widening the gap. Begime Koygilde, Say News.
A sign of the season. Christmas celebrations are officially getting started. An 80-meter tree has arrived at Nathan Phillips Square. In the coming days, it will be decorated with hundreds of decorations and thousands of LED lights. The official Christmas tree lighting will take place at Nathan Phillips Square November 25th as part of the Cavalcade of Lights. The countdown begins at 6:30 p.m. It certainly doesn't feel like Christmas with warm weather outside. More on weather up next.
Fall is here in full effect with the trees bare of their leaves. But one thing that doesn't feel like fall is above seasonal temperature. Tune in for more about how the week stacks up.
Now with a look at the weather. Here's Rustin Vahid. Is the warm weather here to stay?
Well, the warm weather is definitely here to stay, but right now we're going to see a lot of wind, a lot of strong wind, especially in northern Ontario, working its way over from the east to the western side of Canada. It's going to be gusty, but it won't be too chilly with this nice above seasonal temperature. Right now we're looking at just kind of another temperature map. In northern Ontario, it's a little bit cooler, about seasonal, but when we get down here into the closer to the border, Toronto, Ottawa area, it's nice, it's warm, it's above seasonal averages. Right now, we're looking at Sault Ste. Marie has 7 degrees, Sudbury with 8, Parry Sound at 9, down here in Toronto 11, and nice and sunny. Moving into our weekly forecast, starting today with a high of 11, low of -1. Tuesday, partially cloudy, high of 8, low of 2. Wednesday, 11 degrees, partially cloudy once again with a low of 1 overnight. And Thursday, we're getting to a nice 13 degrees. Maybe you want to just wear a sweater, 8 degrees overnight. So if you want to do a little nighttime walk, Thursday would be the day to do it. Moving into our weather right now. It's going to be nice and cloudy for this whole week, but still a lot of sun, above seasonal temperatures. Going to be warm, going to be nice. Can we move it? Right now we're looking at 11 degrees, partially cloudy with a nice sun, 10% chance of rain, so really don't have to worry about that. Winds are gusting about 18 kilometers, so a little bit of a gust, but nothing too crazy. Now back to you, Levi.
Definitely not. The Seneca Sting women's soccer team are national champions. The Stings defeated the Dynamique de Sainte-Foy 1-0 to win the first ever national championship in Seneca history. The game was scoreless 73 minutes in until Emma Gattoni scored the lone goal for Seneca. Joanna Peralta was named the team's MVP for the season. Congratulations, Sting. Speaking of championship women's teams, Team Canada won its first Billie Jean Cup on Sunday. Canada beat Italy 2-0 after Canadians Lila Fernandez and Marina Stakuzic both won their single matches. Fernandez, who's from Laval, Quebec, broke Jasmine Polani's serve to win the game in 2 straight sets. The match lasted an hour and 39 minutes. Canada's team will receive $2.4 million US in prize money, a record amount for women's teams event in Canada. Canada's previous best showing at the Cup was in 1988 when they lost to the Czech Republic in the semifinals. The Toronto Raptors are taking on Bilal Coulibaly and the Washington Wizards tonight in Toronto. Coulibaly is coming off his best game so far in his rookie season. The Toronto Raptors lost their game to the Celtics on Saturday 117-94 and are looking to rebound at home. Fans are hoping Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes will have a bounce-back game tonight after struggling their last game away from home. And finally, the Toronto Blue Jays have won their first Gold Glove Team Award in franchise history. The Gold Glove Award is presented by Rawlings and recognizes a team for excellent defensive capability on the field. While the Blue Jays unfortunately lost to the Minnesota Twins in the playoffs, the team's defense has been continually praised. Fans are hoping next year the offense steps up as well to help deliver the Blue Jays' first World Series since 1993. That's it for sports. Let's check in with Amber with entertainment. Amber, I heard Drake is going on tour again, but can we expect him to come back to Toronto?
Unfortunately, Drake will not be making an appearance in his hometown for his next shows. Drake finished up his most recent tour, It Was All a Blur, alongside rapper 21 Savage in October. He announced today that he will be back on the road. It's All a Blur tour, Big as the What, with J. Cole will start January 18th in Denver, Colorado. Your favorite fat cat is hitting theaters next year. Actor Chris Pratt voices Garfield, an orange sassy cat who loves lasagna. One day, his life changed when he runs into his father, Vic, who is played by Samuel L. Jackson. The two embark on an unexpected adventure. The Garfield movie hits theaters May 24th, 2024. Are you ready to meet your new best friend, Anxiety? The trailer for Inside Out 2 is now out, and we are expected to meet some new emotions. The sequel to Inside Out... The sequel to Inside Out continues to follow Riley as she enters the teenage years and begins to experience new feelings. When the emotions notice a change in Riley's behavior, they notice an unexpected guess. Anxiety is introduced as one of the many emotions expected to be seen in the new film. Inside Out 2 will hit theaters June 14th, 2024. A new superhero movie with a less than super opening, Anissa Ali has details. Anissa, what is hitting #1 this week?
If a Marvel movie doesn't make its budget in the first weekend, then it's considered a dud. Well, the Marvels brought in $100 million worldwide, which sounds great, but it falls far from its $250 million budget.
Carol Danvers, prodigal child of the Milky Way.
Brie Larson made her way back to the big screen as Captain Marvel, Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel, and Tiana Paris returning as Monica Rambeau. The film has received mixed reviews from critics and fans. Some say they were disappointed by the storyline. Others believe the poor showing was because of the recent writer's strike, saying Marvel didn't have enough time to promote the movie. This marks the worst opening for a Marvel film since The Incredible Hulk back in 2008.
You must be new security guard.
There's a big drop to second place. Friday Night at Freddy's scoring up $9 million. Last but not least, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour holds the third spot at the box office, bringing in almost $6 million.
And that adventure is going to span 17 years of music.
A word to the Swifties. Movie theaters are beginning to cut down on which locations will be showing the Eras Tour. It is expected to leave theaters by mid-December. But it's out with the old and in with the new. Napoleon hits theaters this Friday. The historical drama is based on a true story about French leader Napoleon Bonaparte, played by Joaquin Phoenix. The film will focus on his rise to power and his love story with Empress Josephine, played by Ludivine Sonet. This is Anissa Ali for Say News. Back to you, Amber.
And that's it for entertainment. Back to you, Levi.
That's our report for now. I'm Levi. Thanks for joining us. From all of us here at Say News, have a great afternoon.
Should we do fake chat to make it look like it's a talk show? Or